Everyone and welcome to part 28 of my F1 Challenge career mode. Today we are going to Hungarian Grand Prix at the Hungaroring, a circuit which I got a DNF last year, but I hope for a much better result today to relaunch my championship efforts and maybe even go for the podium this weekend. I hope my pace is better than the Williams as we now hand over to the commentator.
Just before the free practice session begins, let's take a quick look at the Drivers' Championship. Mika Häkkinen is leading the Drivers' Championship, but having finished fourth in the last race, he'll be hoping to go a little better and finish on the podium here at Hungaroring. Michael Schumacher, second. The McLaren driver, third. Well, that covers the drivers. Let's take a quick look at the constructors next. McLaren lead the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari are second. Williams are third. Located just a few kilometers from Budapest, the Hungaroring combines just one straight of note with a complex selection of slow to medium speed turns. Opinions on this circuit are very much divided, but whether you love or hate...
So we jump into practice where we are going out for our first timed run of the session. With 14 laps of fuel, I was surprised by how much fuel consumption there was around this circuit. As we go into the first corner, we've already gone wide, and I was getting a lot of understeer in this car. I was surprised by the amount of understeer, and you can see that Verstappen said 25.1, we're going to easily beat that on a 23.1. And then we go and beat that again on the next lap with a 22.6. You can see in the top right that our split was minus 7 tenths, and there's still some time to be found. But then our session was ended because of this freezing, so we're going to have to go out for another run. Not session, having a run. But then later on in the session we decided to go for a low fuel race. See that Villeneuve has set a 120.1. He was having some great pace. He was beating even the likes of Rubens Barrichello. We went across the line for a 21.1. That's a whole second behind Villeneuve, which is disappointing. At the end of our practice session we decided to just have a spin and go into the wall. We're going on to qualifying and we're hoping that we can get a top 10 slot. This track seems to be pretty difficult as we've already gone wide at the second to last corner on our first flying lap, so that's not going to be a very good time because that lost us quite a lot in acceleration. But to the line we've set a 120.4, which is our best lap of the entire practice, and then we go across the line again. We set a 20.0, but on this lap, where if you look at the top right, our fuel is only 3 litres, but we decided to push on anyway because we feel the car felt great and I felt like I was doing a lot better than the last lap. Despite going wide there, we're going to go over the second safety line with 1.3 seconds up on our previous time. We found a bucket load of time around the track, maybe because of the low fuel. We're now going to go round the second to last corner, a very difficult corner, but we managed to get it just about right. The car in front has pitted. We're going to come around the last corner with 1 litre of fuel. Are we going to run out of fuel before the finish line? This could cost our lap. We're going to the line. We're not going to run out of fuel. And we're going to set a 1:18.6. That might even be good enough for pole. We will see, but that is the end of our qualifying session as we literally do run out of fuel in the first corner. The engine's completely dead now, and we're having to roll to a stop as I now hand you over to the grid.
Welcome to Hungary for round 12 of the 2000 FIA Formula One World Championship. The weather, as so often is the case here, is just wonderful. The McLaren driver starts his race from first. Schumacher fared the same as his championship rival. He starts alongside in second. Häkkinen couldn't quite match the pace of his teammate. He starts third. Ralf Schumacher fourth. Rubens Barrichello fifth. Jarno Trulli sixth. Jacques Villeneuve seventh. Frentzen eighth. Heidfeld ninth. Jenson Button 10th. Eddie Irvine 11th. Diniz 12th. Alesi 13th. Fisichella 14th. Mika Salo 15th. Herbert 16th. De La Rosa 17th. Marc Genet 18th. Verstappen 19th. Mazzacane, 20th. Wirtz, 21st. Ricardo Zonta, 22nd.
So we jump into the race. We've got 19 laps of fuel on board as we have the lights here at Hungary. And we are go. We've got an excellent start. Michael Schumacher hasn't been able to overtake it, so we've kept our pole position leads. Very surprised to get pole position at this track. We're going into the first corner. We've gone slightly wide. Michael Schumacher may have looked down our inside, but he gives up because we closed the gap. And we've actually managed to keep the lead going into the first corner after a pole position start. Pretty remarkable stuff here at Hungary. As yet again we go wide, and Michael Schumacher can't take the advantage. We're going to have a look at the replay of the start already, considering how good that start was. I've never done a start like that before in this game. And we then went to the first corner in the lead, and we have kept it for the first few corners. So we need to just try and keep that lead ahead of Michael Schumacher, maybe even extend it for now on the rest of this lap, as the AI are the slowest on the first lap. We're going later on the first lap, and Michael Schumacher has managed to go down our inside with our understeer. We may even try and take it back into the next right-hander. We're going to just put it straight down to the inside, maybe squeeze him wide, and we have made it back past Michael Schumacher. And now we're going to have to take a look at a replay of what happened. You can see he just had a better line. We went wide and we struggled to get back onto the racing line, so we then slipstreamed him down into the next right-hander, and we just about managed to get the move to stick, and that's us up into first place again. But we're now going to skip on to lap 14, where you can see there's a Minardi in front of us, and we're going to go past the Minardi pretty easily. But if you look at the top left, Michael Schumacher's having problems with the Minardi, and look at the time that he's losing bucket loads of time, 2.5. It's probably going to go up even further than that. We're making massive gains on him. We've been training him for this entire race. There's been a complete train behind me of around 6 cars, but it's now up to 4 seconds. So that's this is really crucial, because as you can see in the top right, we've got 5 laps of fuel left, and a lot of people, only me and Mika Hakkinen, had such a long fuel strategy. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the rest, as Michael Schumacher is now 5 seconds behind me. But I think that Ralf Schumacher actually overtakes him. Yes, so Michael Schumacher is now pitted. We're now going to take a look at what happened when Michael Schumacher exited the pits. It looks like there's a Jordan of Heinz-Harald Frentzen who pitted beforehand, and he's actually managed to jump Michael Schumacher. So that's really interesting stuff there, and it's going to be crucial for our race, because he was our close competitor. He's been held behind a Jordan. But you can see here on lap 19 that we need to pit. Mika Hakkinen is 2.5 seconds behind us, and he is catching us up very quickly. But I don't know what's going on with Mika Hakkinen. I don't know what lap he's pitting. I'm guessing the next lap, because I'm coming into the pit this lap. I have been called by the team. Our team is ready in the pit lane. We've got 1 lap of fuel, and here I'm just checking my fuel, make sure I'm not putting in not enough fuel, which I've done in the past, which will end up in us running out of fuel before the end. We're now going to unpause, and Mika Hakkinen has closed the gap down to 1.5 seconds as we go around the second to last corner, and now we're going to go into the pit lane, hoping that we can have a good stop here from McLaren so we don't lose any positions of that train of cars. But it looks like Mika Hakkinen has actually decided to pit at the same time as us. That's incredibly bad mismanagement at McLaren. I don't know what Mika Hakkinen's going to do. Is he going to come behind us? No, he's actually crashed into us, and it looks like our wheel has fallen off there. I was really worried at that point that I'd be out of the race, but I don't think we are. We are halfway through the guy at the front jack. We're now going to leave the pit lane, and it looks like Mika Hakkinen is out of the race. That's incredibly bad there for the team, especially because that really didn't need to happen. But now exiting the pits, Ralf Schumacher is coming down the pit lane. Are we going to have to try and defend from him? He's going to be within a second of us, and I think we've just about kept the position, which is really crucial for our race. With 18 laps to go, we've got 18 laps of fuel, and it seems like the AI are actually going for 2 stops. But we'll take a look at a replay here, and you see that Mika Hakkinen just decided to come into the pits as well. Obviously going to run out of fuel. Came into the pit lane way better than me and reached the limits a lot faster than me, but then just drove into the side of me, and that's him out of the race. I don't know why. He didn't have any damage from that, but that must be what the AI do. But moving on to lap 22, and you can see that I'm actually letting Ralf Schumacher pass. Now this was a ploy to try and shake up the championship a bit more to my advantage, because Ralf Schumacher isn't in the championship, and I was hoping that if he got away, by the time he does a second stop, he'll have a big enough buffer to the Ferraris to finish ahead of them. Therefore, if I win this Grand Prix, I will have a bigger point advantage over Ferrari. But so we let Ralf Schumacher go, and then on lap 23 we've got Heinz-Harald Frentzen behind us, and he's now going to have a look, and he's going to go down the inside. That was a complete... I didn't even mean to let him pass it. I just went wide, and Heinz-Harald Frentzen saw a gap, but he went up up the hill. Are we going to have another go at him? No, we don't, because we then decide, you know what, we'll let him go as well. But he pisses at the end of that lap, so I'm pretty sure the Ferraris will just use their extra fuel to go straight past him. But Ralf Schumacher now leads the Grand Prix, and you see he's just running away with it. But then Ralf Schumacher pits on lap 25, and we now got Michael Schumacher behind us, and we are now up into the lead. And then on lap 29, you can see that Ralf Schumacher is miles behind, as it looks like we are going to win this Grand Prix by an absolute margin. This has been a great Grand Prix. I was really surprised by our pace. Ralf Schumacher has closed down the gap because we've been short shifting, because I thought that I'd run out of fuel, but we're not. We're going to head towards the last corner here at Hungary, and we're going to get our championship underway with a win in Hungary ahead of Michael Schumacher. What a win!
Of an amazing Hungarian Grand Prix. Here are the final results. The McLaren driver first. Michael Schumacher second. Barrichello third. Schumacher fourth. Heinz-Harald Frentzen fifth. Jarno Trulli sixth.
So a victory here in Hungary by 3.1 seconds, with Rubens Barrichello finishing in third. Unfortunately, our ploy with Ralf Schumacher didn't pay off, but it was worth a try. Mika Häkkinen, Mark Genet and Jensen Button being the only retirees. It was a really good victory. I wasn't expecting it at all. I was expecting another DNF, but now hand over to driver standings.
With the results confirmed, it's high time we updated the Drivers' Championship. Michael Schumacher regains the lead of the Drivers' Championship.
As you can see, the gap has significantly gone down. It's now only 8 points to our teammate and 11 points to Michael Schumacher. We are back in this championship hunt. We are hoping to win the championship this year. There's not many races left in this season, but I feel we have a real challenge and a real chance of getting the championship.
McLaren continue to lead the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari are second, followed by the third place Williams.
McLaren widens the gap to 11 points ahead of Ferrari, but I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope the audio is okay. I'm not quite sure, it sounds a bit weird in the editing software, but I will see you in the next video, which I can't say when it will be, but the next video is the Belgian Grand Prix, and I'll see you there.